any one position group or certain players that have surprised you over these first couple weeks of the season?
I wouldn't say anybody that's surprised. I would say it's more improvement, and I think several of those groups have improved. I think the defensive line has improved, not necessarily in pass rush and affecting the quarterback, but striking blockers and knocking people back and controlling the line of scrimmage. And I think the offensive line has improved. I think it's a deal where we emphasize each week us going good on good makes us different than everybody else. I think everybody does it. I think we're doing it more than most. And I think the only way to get better throughout the season is to not go against a scout team guy that's maybe not as good a competition, and we go against each other because we're priding ourselves on being physical, being tough, and going against each other. So that gives you a chance to improve when you go against better people.
Coach Mark.
Yep.
You've got a short week because of the game being postponed. Have you run into any major issues, and what kind of adjustments have you made to deal with the fact you're kind of missing a day?
I would say major issues. I'd just say longer hours for the coaches, making decisions a little quicker than you're comfortable with. You got to move quicker. So we started on the bus back on Vanderbilt and used those 3 hours, and we met, and we'll continue to do that a little bit later than we usually do. As far as the kids go, we're trying to make it as normal a week. Today's a Tuesday practice, so we're going to go out there and practice like it's Tuesday, practice like it's a Wednesday, and go with it the next couple of days. So the more routine for them, the better. I think the coaches can handle it because we've all had short weeks before, and we'll have to game plan a little quicker.
Coach, it looked like Trent Thompson had sort of assumed a lot of double teams against South Carolina. Can you sort of speak on how that has improved your run, I guess, defense, and how it has helped other guys like Lorenzo and Davin get to the quarterback?
As far as Trenton taking
on more than one offensive lineman.
Yeah, that usually occurs in the run game. So I think in the run game, if he gets doubled, got a lot of singles up there, but that's probably not the case in pass protection. I think Trent's continued to improve. He's got to continue to get better, and he's got to continue to develop as a player.
Did South Carolina do anything particular in terms of confusing Jacob when he looked at coverages? And as a coaching staff, what can you do this week to help him, progress?
I think the biggest thing with Jacob is getting more reps, allowing him to develop. It wasn't South Carolina didn't do anything outside what they always do. It was more of a matter of him not feeling comfortable with the protection. His feet got a little rattled at times and started looking around, but it wasn't anything they did to confuse him. I think the best thing we can do is give him a better picture in practice of what he's going to see in the game and try to simulate that and throw and catch the ball more. Ultimately, that's the end of the equation is try to put him in the same environment he's in the game, which we can't simulate wind. We can't simulate some of the things that South Carolina did with our scout team. So we've got to do a better job of putting him in situations he's going to be in the game.
Coach, this is arguably the first week that you've had Chubb and Michelle for the entirety of the game. What's it like, just as a coach, watching one go out, one go back in, and just their overall dominance?
Well, it's comforting to have both guys. I mean, you've got two really good football players that not only are great players, but they're really good leaders on our team, and they kind of motivate the rest of the team by the way they run the ball. I think when you see a guy run through an arm tackle, you see a guy with really good toughness, I think it inspires the offensive line to block harder, inspires the receivers to block harder. And guys sitting over on defense resting, they play with more energy and passion when they see their backs churning for extra yards. So we take a lot of pride in that. I think Coach McGee does a good job with those backs and continuing to improve them. And I think the two young kids got to continue to improve as well.
You've spoken a lot about Jacob Eason's arm talent and his composure and where he needs to get better. What are some other areas that he's been the starter now for a while that give you confidence in him as a player other than arm talent and composure and things like that?
Well, I think those are the biggest things. Composure is one of the best things he's got going. And the other thing that gives him an opportunity is players around him. He doesn't have a big offensive line, but he's got an experienced offensive line. There's 3 guys up there who've played a lot of football, really 4 that played a lot of football. So that gives him confidence. He's got good backs around him. That allows him to have some confidence as well. But Jacob knows that he's had his ups and downs this season. He's had his wow moments and he's had his bad moments. And I think when you are starting a true freshman, you know that you're going to inherently go through some of those. And you've got to encourage, you've got to teach, you've got to improve him as a player so that there's progress there.